New details being released in a domestic disturbance turned deadly.
Now, we must warn you, some of the details in this case are very graphic.
Sources tell us that the couple was married on Saturday, less than 24 hours before found dead.
911, what that is the emergency? Help me. Please. Please. Who is? My husband. Hello? Hello?
Sheriff's deputies would arrive to find Kelly dead as a result of gunshot wounds to the chest and neck.
Is accused of murdering his wife.
I had a dream, and then I turn on the lights and she's dead on the floor. I had blood all over me, and I think I did it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited that it is Halloween and I get to play with scary stuff. I don't really know what this girl is. Obviously she is some kind of bride. I don't know what her story is yet. I just think this is so different and I just really like it. I hope you guys like it too. If you have any requests for any other stuff, leave it in the description box. I'm hoping to bust a couple more out before October is over. So let's hope for that. Alright guys, so we're starting off with bare clean skin. Even though it looks a little crazy, it's just my face. But for the base of this look, I'm going in with the Wolfe water activated paint and going in with a stippling sponge. You can use a sponge, you can use a brush. I actually ended up going in with a brush later on because it actually was a little bit more opaque that way. But just going ahead and just stippling this all over my face, also taking it on the ears, the neck, and really close to that hairline because I wasn't sure kind of how my wig would set. Taking it all the way down to my chest. I'm going to brush through my brows because I'm going to go ahead and block them with some glue. I would have done this before I did my paint, but I forgot. So we're doing it now. I'm clearing away some of that glue where I want some of the eyeshadow to kind of blend up to, just so it's smooth. And while it dries, I'm going to add a little bit more of the white face paint over my eyelids. Now I'm going in with a second layer of that glue and I'm just pushing this upwards. I wasn't being too precise with it. I just wanted it to be kind of glued down to my face. And then we're spooling the extra away. Going to set that with any translucent powder. I believe this one was a really old one from Elf, but it worked. To cover the brows, I kind of just layered more and more water activated paint that was not very diluted. That way it kind of gave a more strong pigment, and then I set it with some white eyeshadow. And this is a Morphe palette. Since I didn't know exactly what I was doing, everything I'm doing today is basically in baby steps. So I'm going in with this kind of light grayish taupey-ish shade from the Kat Von D Shade Light Eye Palette, just to start adding in some contour, kind of see how I want to shape the face until I go in with darker things. I did a little bit from the cheekbone down to the jaw, just to kind of hollow it out a little bit. And then I ended up going in with a maroon eyeshadow in my normal contouring areas underneath the cheekbone, on the temples. I'm also going pretty heavily underneath the jawline. I'm also taking this over the neck and into my hairline. Now I'm going in with the red shadow. Now unfortunately, since I have a white face, the red was turning pink basically. But I went ahead and just added some black eyeshadow and that really kind of helped darken it up, make it a little bit more deeper. I looked at my headpiece just to try to reference for the color that I wanted and it was completely off, so I went to my Juvia's Place palette and went with a super pigmented burnt orange color, and this really helped get the color that I wanted. I didn't want it to completely match the bright red on the roses on the headpiece, but it was the shade that I was going for. So just to kind of blend everything, I took a little bit of white eyeshadow on a fluffier brush just to blend the edges of that. And anywhere that was a little too overly blended, I would just clean it up with that white eyeshadow. And now I'm adding just a little bit more of that contour from the cheekbone to the jawline, but I didn't want it to be as harsh as the rest of the contour on the face. Now I'm going in with a maroon cream gel liner as a base for my eyes. I'm just adding this on the outer corners. I also went ahead and put this into the contour of like my brows. I don't really know how to explain that, but I had a vision and this is where it was going. I just wanted all the contours of the face to really pop. Now I'm going to set that with that red eyeshadow that we used earlier. I use a ton of different eyeshadows in this tutorial, so you're welcome to look in the description box. I'll have everything listed. First, just blending all that out with the red. Obviously pushing harder where I want more product, and as I want it to blend, just kind of lighten up on my brush and start to tap. Now I'm going in with this dark burnt orange shade and this really rich deep red color from the Huda Beauty palette, and working this on the outer corner of the eyes just to really create some depth and dimension. I want everything to really look sunken in certain areas because we're dead AF. I knew I wanted to do something underneath the eye, so I just started to kind of map it out a little bit with some eyeshadow, and then I skipped over into contour the nose. I kind of skip back and forth, especially when I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm just contouring the nose right now with my baby step powder, which was that light gray powder that we first started contouring the face with. Now that I'm a little bit more comfortable with my face contour and I know where I'm going with it, I'm going ahead and adding a lot of black because I wanted it to be really dark. Once I started adding the darkness into the eyeshadow, I really wanted to kind of make it match the face. So I'm going in with a small little fluffy brush and really kind of putting that in concentrated areas and then blending it out. Don't forget your ears and behind your neck. And I'm just going to blend the edges of that with a maroon eyeshadow. Now I'm taking black on a tiny little blending brush just around my eyes. I placed it in the inner corner and decided I didn't like the way that eye shape was going with putting the dark in the inner corner. So I went ahead and just covered that up with some white face paint and just pretended it never happened. I went about my business. Throughout makeup application, I'm looking at myself with my headpiece, kind of seeing where I think it should go next, and I decided to do a little bit more contouring on the Cupid's bow area and on the chin with a little bit of a maroon eyeshadow. Added some white cream pencil to the waterline. That's actually the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil, and now I'm starting to commit to underneath those eyes. I'm going in with this red liquid lipstick and starting to create a little bit of like a blood spatter type effect underneath there. Then doing the same thing very close to those with a maroon eyeshadow on a tiny little flat brush, and then blended it out slightly with a fluffier brush. Now I'm taking my Wolfe Monster palette and taking a red water activated paint. Now unfortunately my camera stopped recording, but basically I just watered down the paint and then let it drip a little bit down my face. And then went in with a black and started letting it drip just a little bit. At this point I was kind of going for more of like a watercolor look. You can do it however you want. Now I'm taking this red lip tar, and this is what really kind of tied the face with the headpiece because it's the same color, and just kind of putting this underneath my eyes in a blood splatter slash tear design. Like I said, kind of do your thing, girl. I kind of like change it a million times. I do it a certain way and I'd wipe a little bit off and continue to go from there. I added some in the middle of my lips, you know, blended it out with a little bit of Corona because that's what I do, okay? And then I went in with just a little bit of white eyeliner just to kind of give a little pop here and there. I'm doing some more drip effects with some black water activated paints, kind of watered down just to kind of mix in. I wanted a lot going on just where it looked like one like beautiful like dead masterpiece underneath my eyes. I don't know. To add some extra detail, I'm going in with tiny little black dots just around the eyeshadow, around the under eye area, my contour areas, just to add a little bit of something. For a little pop on the eyelids, I'm going in with the Kat Von D Alchemist palette and using this pink holographic shadow and just popping that on my eyelids, on the Cupid's bow, on the nose. It was very faint, but when it caught the light, it was really cool. Now that it was starting to come together, I popped on my wig, kind of looking at myself, trying to figure out what else it needs. I really liked it so far though, and then just went ahead and painted the rest of my body that was going to be kind of visual for the camera. You can do as much as you need depending on the costume that you're wearing, but I just went ahead and covered myself in some white paint, contoured my sides with some black eyeshadow, also hit up the collarbones, and then went in with a maroon eyeshadow just to blend out the edges of that. A lot of the same things that we did on the face, but just carrying it over into the body. I'm not really expert at contouring my body. It's kind of like, you know, something new for me, so I'm just gonna let you watch. Then I went in with that same pink holographic eyeshadow just to kind of make those collarbones really pop, the neck pop, the chest plate, I don't know if that's the thing you call it, kind of pop, and went in with a shimmery white eyeshadow on top of that just to further add some dimension. Don't forget, don't you damn forget to contour your armpits because they need to be contoured. And I contour my boobs, but I didn't show that on camera because, you know. To match the face, I'm adding more of those tiny little black dots with paint onto the contours of my chest and décolleté, and then going in and adding a little bit more liquid lipstick because I took way too many creative breaks, aka drinking Coronas, and I needed to fix it. I just blended it out with some more of that white paint just to make it kind of fade out. Instead of doing a lipstick, I decided just to contour my lip line, which I really loved. Love that. Just using maroon and red eyeshadows. I highlighted my Cupid's bow and the bottom of my lip with some shimmery white eyeshadow. Now for my favorite part, but first let me mention I did pop in one of my contacts. These white mesh contacts that I use, you can't really see that well, so I went ahead and just put one in so I could finish the rest and then pop the other one in later. But similar to what we did under the eyes before, I am throwing on some red water activated paints, just starting at my jawline and letting it trickle down my neck, adding little blood splatters. The best method I can recommend for this is not to add way too much product when you're wanting the dripping effect because it kind of goes crazy. So just add a little bit at a time, and once it stops dripping, dot a little bit more product right at the end and it will continue to drip down, and the trickle will look a little bit more organic that way. I did the same thing with the black, keeping it a little bit more centered, and then fan that dry. Added a little bit more contour to my chin because apparently it fell off, and I'm going to paint the rest of my arms and hands with some white face paint, hit up the tips of my fingers with some maroon eyeshadow and some black face paint. Also did the trickle effect with some red water activated paints and black water activated paints, and we are done. We are looking freaking fine and dead. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I love this girl. I think she looks beautiful, even though she's dead. Please leave me requests for any other videos in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.